The trap is that we've been trained to believe that needing other men is a sign of weakness rather than a sign of wisdom.
This is the Second Half Man Show. I'm 601. We're here every Tuesday. Today, we'll be discussing the last advantage. If you like the way the show goes, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe. We'd love for you to become a member of the Brotherhood. Don't forget to leave comments if you have any. Don't forget about our weekly newsletter that is free to subscribe for, the Dispatch. It's usually the information that we're analyzing in these shows. So with that, let's get back to this topic. It's hard to break the tradition, I guess you want to call it, of us going alone, right? You know, it's been a lifelong thing, right? Now I'm gonna have to change. I'm gonna have to adjust that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, the trap is not that you can't see the problem, right? The trap is that kind of almost exactly what you were saying is that we've been trained to believe that needing other men is a sign of weakness, rather than a sign of wisdom. And we will upgrade our software, we'll try and learn the new tools, and we'll read every newsletter and watch every tutorial out there, but we will not pick up the phone and call another man and say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I think we should try to figure this out together. We try to do everything to avoid, appearing weak or not able to handle it on our own.
I think, I mean, you would agree. Look, most of the guys that we're targeting, most of the guys that we want to help are guys that are independent individuals. They've built their business. They've climbed the corporate ladder. They've done well. And with that, in most of those leadership roles, as you're aware, you have to maintain a position of confidence. You have to maintain a position of assuredness. You have to show those people that you're leading, that you're infallible, that they can count on you, that every decision you make is going to be not only in your best interest, but their best interest.
Yeah.
And so that creates, by its very nature, right? That creates a lot of solitude, because if you work all the time and you're around them people all the time, then you're on guard all the time.
Yeah. Look, I know that man. Hell, I was that man. When I was having the issues with my business, I had plenty of people around me, right? Employees, vendors, clients, professionals, they all paid to interact with me. And look, I didn't have a single man that I could sit with and say the truth out loud. Not the professional version of the truth, but the real one, because for exact reasons you said, you can't tell your clients you're having issues. You can't tell the banks you're having issues. You can't tell your employees you're having issues. That, all those things just kind of go out the window. And it's hard not to, fall into that old, I'm, we're strong, everything's okay, and try to show that assuredness and that everything's going to be fine. Let's just keep on moving. And, sometimes that's just not the case, but you can't really show that. Right. And that's the biggest problem. And, after my business finally did collapse, the rebuilding didn't start with a plan. I was pretty down. The rebuilding just started with a conversation, an honest conversation with one man who I'd known since 4th grade, right? 601, you didn't have any answers. You didn't have,
Nope.
You didn't have great advice.
Nope.
You didn't know how to tell me what to do in the situation I was in.
Right.
But you had presence. You sat with me. You listened. You helped me just keep moving forward. And that is a different thing entirely from knowing what to say. You didn't have to know what to say. You just had to be there. And everybody needs somebody like that, a circle of friends that they can rely on. And that is where this week's code comes into play. Element 21 of the Sovereign's Code in my upcoming book, the second half manifesto, how to stay dangerous when AI and society want you obsolete, is simply entitled Connect, right? Becomes the foundation that everything else is built on. It's about deep, meaningful relationships being life's ultimate force multiplier. Last week we talked about force multiplication, but this week we show that Connect and who you are connecting with is the ultimate force multiplier that there is. And it transmutes every just ordinary experience into something extraordinary and meaningful. And I spent the last 10 dispatches talking about technology, systems, intelligence, sovereignty, and all of it matters, but none of it works alone. None of it. So the man who commands AI without a brotherhood commanding alongside of him is just a more efficient version of lonely. He may have better tools, but nobody to build with. The Sovereign's Code has 22 elements for a reason. 4 of them live in the connections domain. This is not an afterthought. It's architecture, right? You cannot build sovereignty on a foundation of isolation. You need men around you. You need people who see what you're building, understand why it matters, and refuse to let you quit in the middle when it all gets really messy.
So, what I'm hearing you say, and unfortunately, I always try to put it into simple terms because I agree completely. What you seem to be describing to me as a brotherhood, right? This is also not the quantity of connections that we have, right? But the quality of the connections that we have, right? Is that if I'm hopefully I'm on the right page. So
You're exactly right. You do have to have a good close circle of friends, and more than one is preferable, but you'd rather have connections as opposed to just connections across them.
I agree. So that, one, if not none less than one, if it's only for one, just make sure that it is a quality connection that you have. So the sovereign solution that you gave us was connections, right? So give
Yeah.
us a move. Give us a move this week, Russ. What's the move we can make this week?
All right. This is one of those that is super simple,
I like simple. Let me hear
but it might be one of the hardest things you'll ever do.
it. how did how did I know? Go ahead.
One call. That's it. This week, call one man. Don't text. Don't email. Don't comment on social media. Pick up the phone. Call him.
One
Someone
guy
you
I've not
respect.
talked to in a long time.
Someone you respect. Someone you have not talked to in a long time. Someone who would be surprised to hear your voice. Pick up the phone. Call him. And when he picks up, skip the small talk. Tell him what you've been thinking about and how fast the world is moving, and that you wanted to hear what he was seeing from where he was and where he sits. And then just listen. Have a conversation that neither one of you was expecting and that neither one of you had time to prepare for. That's it. Just have a good old fashioned conversation. And then when the conversation is done, if it went well, don't let it end there. Schedule the next time you're going to talk. Don't say, yeah, we should do this again sometime, or yeah, I'll
It was great
talk to you
hearing
again.
from you. We'll talk again.
Pick a date, put it on your calendar, and that's the difference between a friendship and a memory. That recurring contact, right? Make sure that you have people in your life that you are going out of your way to make sure are closer to you every single day.
Well, I don't know how easy that one move's going to be. I'm going to give it a whirl. As you're talking, I've got a couple guys already in mind that I just got to pick one of them. So this is the second half man show again. If you like the topic we discussed today, we hope you hit that like button. We hope that you subscribe, right? We also hope that you leave us some comments. Simple reminder, don't forget that all the episodes that we've dropped since the beginning of the year, they're on YouTube at the Second Half Man Show. Right? You look that up, you'll see the library of shows and shorts and 3-minute videos that we've dropped since the beginning of the year. Again, don't forget about the Dispatch. That's our free, right, subscription to our weekly newsletter, the Dispatch. We drop it every Sunday, right, Russ?
Yep.
So any last thoughts, Russ? You got any last thoughts you want to share with us?
Yeah. Look, the man who faces disruption alone does not overcome it. He just endures it. Brotherhood is the last advantage no machine can replicate. Make the most of your friendships this week.
So with that, this is the Second Half Man Show. I'm 601.
I'm Russ Borden.
Stay dangerous.